we're here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's August 4th here in Seoul. I'm Shin-Yoon, and this is News Generation, where we make the news at Arirang's very own open studio. Every morning, we'll discuss the top issues and latest current affairs affecting people in their 20s and 30s. Joining me in the studio is Chiji.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday! I love your festive look today.
I love your look too, and yours.
And Cheska Dainong.
Happy Friday!
Happy Friday! Now, both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. Our first story, we saw yet another stabbing rampage with no apparent reason happen here in the Greater Seoul area. At least 14 people were injured on Thursday after a man drove his car into pedestrians and then stabbed people near a subway station in Seongnam City in Gyeonggi-do Province. Police have arrested the suspect, who was in his 20s, and have since said his motive was unclear and that it seems like another indiscriminate attack. The KDC on Thursday has issued a malaria warning in Korea after finding this disease among some mosquitoes collected in the Paju area of Gyeonggi-do Province earlier in July. Malaria is a life-threatening disease transmitted through mosquitoes, and this year, mosquitoes in Korea carrying it have been found 9 weeks earlier than in 2022. The number of patients suffering from this disease has more than doubled in just a year. And moving over to some global news, UNESCO has recommended that Venice, which was added to their heritage list back in 1987 and is also Italy's most popular tourist destination, is added to its heritage danger list. UNESCO cited how the city attracts tens of thousands of daily visitors during peak times. Also, how its once beautiful canals are running dry as droughts hit Italy. The organization said too many tourists have threatened the integrity of the site and have exacerbated global warming. But it takes time to add a popular tourist destination like Venice to the UNESCO list of heritage in danger. All member states must attend a meeting at the World Heritage Committee, and this is scheduled for this September in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and we'll have to see whether this will actually happen. Meanwhile, some Venetians have actually pleaded tourists not to come at all. The city is home to only 50,000 residents, but last year alone, around 3.2 million tourists jammed the streets. And now I would like to expand the news feed here to the studio, starting with Cheska. Are you for or against Venice being added to this UNESCO list of heritage of danger?
You know, I would really support whatever the city of Venice would want. I mean, after all, it is the city that also ties in with the tourist economy as well. However, I think there is something very important that is highlighted here, especially cities that are very popular for tourists. I mean, Boracay kind of also took a break to kind of rejuvenate and restore, right? So I think actually, instead of us people taking vacations, why don't cities take a vacation?
Right.
Like a city holiday. You know, like cities go on a little break to rejuvenate, restore, and rest, just like people do, so that they can greet people again and sort of have the time to re-engage with people as well.
I love that expression. Instead of all of us flocking there to spend our summer vacation, why don't we give all these global cities a summer break? And do you think that we should be doing this here too in Korea? Do you think, Seoul is a growing popular destination for a lot of international tourists, or other cities like Prague? Should they also take this so-called summer vacay? Because this could be a way of slowing down global warming, or what the UN Chief Secretary General Antonio Guterres said, global boiling. What do you think?
Right, I really love that expression as well. Cities taking their vacation as well.
Summer vacay.
Yes, well, I think these decisions definitely support the endangered cities, but I don't think it will slow down global warming per se, because we're just trying to protect these cities from getting impacted by climate change. So I think the recent decision was very wise, because Italy, according to UNESCO, wasn't doing enough to protect the city from all the water level rising and the mass tourism. So it's good that UNESCO, international organizations such as these, to take proactive measures to really help support cities that don't do enough to protect itself.
It could be like a warning sign, and it's actually the second time that UNESCO asked this from Italy, which means that this is a situation that needs much more attention, especially if a lot of tourists are going to continue going there. And that was our news feed for today. Let's move on to our discussion topic. It's Friday, which means that we're going to take you around Seoul. It's time for our Visit Seoul 2023 series. And today we're going to be talking about what many young people in Korea do during the peak of summer, and it's going to different water festivals where you listen to good music, engage in water fights, and just have fun with your friends. And now here in the studio, Cheska, I hear you've actually had experience organizing one of these summer festivals. So which one were you in charge of?
Behold, it was the one and only Waterbomb Festival.
Yes, waterbomb.
I loved it too. So, I mean, Waterbomb is, I think, one of the most hottest summer festival that everybody's talking about. So if we take a look at the screen, there's an incredibly exciting VCR that we prepared for you. So one of the crazy thing about this festival is, first of all, it involves water gun fight, as you can see, and not just with each other, but you can actually shoot it to the stage, which becomes incredibly interactive. So you are engaging with the audience, you're having these water fights that you haven't had probably since you're like 5 years old, on stage with music. And one of the crazy thing about this festival is we have amazing fireworks that happen at night. And the headliners involve super top K-pop artists like Jessie, J Park, CL, and it's becoming like a must-see and must-go festival for a lot of young people at the moment. And I think one of the most exciting thing about this festival is I think it is one of the very first domestically grown festival that is being exported internationally. So I believe they're now doing it in Japan and Bangkok, and of course over 9 cities all around in South Korea.
So we've exported this summer festival abroad, which is worth it because I've been to it once. And you know what was really fascinating was, as you mentioned, you can do water fights with like people that you don't really know or even with your friends. And also you can see all these like top-notch celebrities so up close. But then there were some criticism against fans actually throwing or shooting water towards their faces. That should stop.
They really shouldn't do that.
Yeah, because this is a festival where everyone should have fun, but in a safe manner.
Absolutely.
Right. Now, Chi, I would like to ask you the second question. What do you think there are so many different festivals during the summer, but what are some representative summer water-related festivals here in Korea?
Well, it's not just Waterbomb that's popular around summer. There's also Psy's Summer Swag, and there's also the Songkran Festival, which is also called the S2O Festival. It gets its motive from the Songkran in Thailand. It involves water as well. So there are other different types of water-related festivals like these you can enjoy in summer.
And speaking of Songkran, you and I went to Songkran together this year.
Why wasn't I invited to the party?
You need to come again with us next year.
Why wasn't I invited?
Come again with us next year. It was a blast. It was one of the most representative summer festivals. As Chihi mentioned, we went to Songkran. And Chihi, why don't you take us through what our experience was like?
Sure. I mean, I had a blast. It was my first summer festival that involves water, and it was the first ever since the outbreak of COVID-19 as well. So if you take a look at another VCR that we have provided for you, Songkran or the S2O Festival, is pretty much similar to other water-related summer festivals. It involves EDM music, and it gets its motive, like I said, from Thailand's New Year's festival, Songkran. So it involves a lot of water splashing. People bring their water guns to have water fights, and they have water splashing from the stage as well. So it's sprinkled onto the audience. It's really cool, refreshing, and you have all the refreshments and convenience facilities because this time around it was held in Gwacheon's amusement park. So they had all the food stalls, and as you saw in the VCR, there was some great fireworks at the end to wrap everything up.
I think for all festivals, fireworks is like the best finale. You know when the festival is over once you see those amazing fireworks. And I remember I had so much fun with you at Songkran. It was such a pleasure.
It was.
It was because not only was there good music, but because it was such a humid day, I was so willing to get drenched.
Me too.
I was looking for the areas where you can get drenched in water because there are spots where they just pour down onto you. And Chi and Cheska, then, are you guys big fans of summer festivals like this? You said Songkran was the first for you this year, but how many times did you go before, like in the past? And what do you think makes it really special and different this year around?
Well, like you said, it was my first water-related summer festival, but before, in the past, when I was younger, and before the outbreak of COVID-19, I used to go to these other music festivals, such as the Ultra Music Festival, or the World DJ Festival, or the Stardium. I believe that was organized by the company that you work for.
The blood and sweat and tears all went into that one.
And these were all imported festivals, though. But like you said, Waterbomb, it's a homegrown festival that's being exported to other countries. So I think that's a difference.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are so many different festivals like these. I was an audience.
You were an audience member.
And I also worked for as the protocol to support the DJs who were involved.
This is
in
so
the festival
amazing.
as
Two young independent women not only going to enjoy these festivals, but working as organizers. But why would you go just to enjoy it then?
Well, it's really fun.
Is there any other reason? Yeah.
Exactly, and it's a way of releasing stress. And millennials like us, we like to express ourselves, right? So it's all part of that. It's just fun to be there.
Going there, and you know, I think it has to do with you only live once.
Yes.
And you're only young once.
Yes.
So might as well, when you have the stamina and the health conditions, just
Exactly.
go out there and enjoy yourself.
Try everything out.
Try everything out. Now, what about you, Cheska? Aside from organizing festivals like these, did you actually buy tickets yourself to go to any of festivals here in Korea?
You know, the irony is I did go to many, but when I was working, every time I was there, I was kind of seeing it as more of an organizer perspective. It's like, oh, they have this facility. Oh, they have this lining system. Oh, they brought in this food truck. But one festival that I would like to bring up, since we're talking about Summer Festival, is I think everybody in Korea knows the show, Summer Swag. I mean, oh my God, this guy knows how to take the party to the next level.
does.
He really, I mean, he was already known for that kind of, you know, crazy, no limit energy that almost drains the crowd before, like the artist drains himself. But I mean, it's getting crazier and most exciting, and you know, just the type of shows, artists that he brings. I think Rain was on the show for like 8 years in a row. And I mean, if you just see it, I mean, he's been popular for Gangnam style music. But the water that is being blasted and the energy that he delivers to the audience, I think, is completely next level. And I think he recently also made the news because he gave out tickets to the military base that was near where he was holding the festival to sort of, you know, morally support and encourage, you know, all the young guys who are working in the heat. And I thought that was a really nice gesture.
Yeah, we covered this on our newsfeed before, but he said he wanted to relieve their stress, especially because they helped a lot of devastated residents from whether the torrential rain or the blistering heat waves we've been seeing here in the country. But Cheska, why do you think a lot of young people, including ourselves, like going to summer festivals then?
I think there's so many reasons, but from the organizer perspective, I think one of the things that I've noticed was the audience want to be transported into a completely different reality. I mean, let's face it, we have 9 to 6 jobs, we take the subway all over the city. For this one time, you step into either stadium or Songkran or waterbomb, it's like a whole different world.
It's like Narnia.
I love that. It's like,
Opening
I love
gateways to
it.
Narnia. And then you go and open up your childhood
And the
be
water
like,
blasts at
the
you.
water blasts at you, and though you might be 27, 28, or 38, you'd be like, I feel like I'm 7 and 8 again.
No. And I think we already saw in the VCR with the two of you who didn't invite me, but
We will invite you next year, we promise.
It's okay. Thank you, though. But one of the things that our generation love to do is dress up.
Yes.
Let's talk about that for a little bit.
Let's talk about that, because you know, Chihi, I think you are the epitome of festival makeup and attire today.
Well, I mean, I never have hairs like this, right? But as you saw in the VCR, I was looking quite festive when I
very
went to the Songkran, as you as well.
Oh, thank you.
This is all part of us wanting to be self-expressive in these festivals as well, I think.
And don't you like the preparation process where
I
you call up your
do.
girlfriends and like, what are you gonna wear?
Yeah.
What are you gonna put on for your face and stuff like that?
And especially with the social media, I think, I mean, in a good way, and I think a lot of people actually go to these festivals to create content that they can post and, you know, show what kind of outfit we wear, you know, what kind of things we do at the festival as well.
And some people actually dress up in bizarre costumes.
They do.
And it's really fun to watch that there because I think you guys are both right. It's for like expressing yourselves, but also uploading it on social media.
Yes. Right.
But also the interactions you have with people wearing different costumes. You might see the same person, same costume, and be like, whoa, we have a commonality there, and you can hit it off as friends. Now, we asked our viewers the same question as to whether they enjoy going to festivals, and here's what 3 of them had to say. Take a look at the screen to find out. The Power Ranger 200 said, no, I haven't been to these festivals, but I always wanted to go to the waterbomb. Oh, that's really nice. Benny D97 says, no, I haven't visited any summer or water festivals, and if I have a chance, the water festival would be a good option for me to listen to great music. And Mapian Godda said, I've been to the Mud Festival. It's a great place to have fun with your friends, but there are a lot of people. That is a really good point. You know, all these festivals, there's so many people, which is why there's dire need for better and good crowd management.
Right.
And I would now like to take a little swift to our discussion by mentioning the criticisms behind, though very fun, but what could be very dangerous and quite, contentious water festivals. Why don't we talk about that?
Right. Well, there have been a lot of criticism regarding these water-related festivals, especially with waterbomb, because it's known to use 300 tons of water just for a single event. So basically, it really is a waste of water, and it's been constantly receiving this criticism. And even, in fact, this year, the Gwangju region, they had this devastating drought, and so they had to cancel the event 10 days before because it would be a waste of water to be spending it on a music festival while there's drought going on, some
Just
reality
for entertainment.
issues. Exactly, just for entertainment. And also Psy's summer swag was also criticized for using drinking water because in some parts of the world, people don't have enough access or don't even have any access to drinkable or potable water. So that's also been receiving a lot of criticism. And also the behaviors of these audience, the participants, it's also a subject of criticism because after the event, they're all soaked, but they use all the public transport, they sit on the seats. And so
drenching in water.
Exactly. And the other public were really annoyed and inconvenienced by these irresponsible actions, really.
Right. It's not only the environmental issues that you mentioned, but it's also who participates. Like, we need better etiquette. And one thing that popped into my mind is there's a lot of scams related to the tickets as well for these festivals. Though organizers sell them in legal ways and through their official websites, you might know as an organizer.
Actually, yes. We've gotten so many complaints that people bought tickets from black websites and then would, complain or request us. But there's nothing we can do because we never vouched for them in the first place.
Exactly. The organizers make it clear on the website that you shouldn't use like the black market or any second retail shops to be buying this unless they're officially affiliated with the organization. So you can see that there are some criticism like this, but would you care to add on to what more there could be?
Absolutely. I think since we're talking about water festival, I think water is always a big issue. Even when I was working at the festival, we were very careful about thinking about what the current climate is. And if there is a way, I really wish there was a way to recycle the water or even electricity, because not just water festivals, but any festival uses a lot of resources just in general.
Right.
So if there's a way, there's definitely, I think, an urgent need for things to kind of remedy and change. And as for the festival goers, I can speak from the audience perspective. I mean, we did as much as we could, providing plastic bags, building huge tents so people could change and go to use public transports, and even building like heaters so that people could dry off. But I think we as a festival goer also must take the responsibility of doing the things that we're supposed to do.
Yeah, bring your little, knapsack and just put on your dry clothes and towel and dry off before you go. Make sure you're sober so that you don't cause a scene at the public transport. And keeping that all in mind, I understand that there are still a lot of summer-related festivals still ongoing here in Korea. And Ji, could you introduce what our viewers could go to in the next coming few weeks?
Sure. So let me show you an image mapping out the different summer festivals that are upcoming in the country. I mean, one of our listeners mentioned the Poryong Mud Festival. So that's taking place. That's been open since January 21st. Not January, July.
Wow, I was thinking from all the way from the winter.
I missed a lot.
It's a summer festival, yeah.
And that's going to end on this summer, on this Sunday.
Yes.
So if you have some time, please do go down to Poryong to enjoy the Mud Festival, which is very unique. It's a unique festival that happens in Korea. And there's also the Incheon Pentaport Rock Festival that's taking place during this weekend as well. It actually kicked off today, so you might want to check that out. And in Daegu, there's a Chimek Festival. We've mentioned this before in our other episodes of the show.
Chicken and beer.
Yes, chicken and beer. That's going to kick off on the 30th of this month, and it will last until September 3rd. And there's the Jeonju Ultimate Music Festival. That's going to be, as you see on the map, from the 11th to 13th this month. And last but not least, there's a Chuncheon Summer Sleep Music Festival. That's going to involve top-notch Korean singers, and it's going to take place from the 13th to the 19th this month.
Yeah, and thanks to all the visuals, it's really easy for our viewers to understand where where they are.
Right.
But because they're not in Seoul, I think they should have a very good time looking into all the different trains
Right.
and transport methods they can get there. And you need to be quick about it because now we're seeing a lot of people flock around the country because it's like the peak of summertime.
Right.
Then how do you guys think we should better organize or take part in these summer festivals? We briefly mentioned it'd be great if organizers could think of ways to recycle water or give up recyclable resources or equipment for us to use. And as people, we could, you know, as festival goers, we could actually be better prepared and more responsible.
Right.
But apart from that, how can we better spend our times at summer festivals?
And I think it's a two-sided relationship, as with anything. From the organizer perspective, one of the things that I learned a lot from working with the company is how much detail goes into planning something to make it extra. Meaning, like, how can we make the audience feel a little bit more comfortable? You know, how can we reduce the time in lining, you know, crowd management, security? So these were the details that really went into it. So I hope the organizers really take that care and attention when they're planning things. Now, on the festival goer side, let's please pick up our own trash.
Yes.
Let's really plan ahead. Get those lockers because the festivals do provide them. Get the bags, you know, put your wet clothes in. Think about, you know, how to go and get back in a safe one piece. I think these are some of the things that we can both think about to make it a safer and happier festival for
And
all
it
of
has
us.
to be a safer and happier environment in order for us to keep going to these summer festivals for a longer time.
Exactly.
What about you, Jihi?
I mean, if you want to have the freedom to enjoy all these fun festivals during summer, you have to really behave well as an individual. Don't think that one little action won't make a difference, because it does make a huge difference.
does.
Because there are tons of people being involved in these festivals, and one, throwing away trash everywhere or getting soaked, causing inconvenience, that will build up to cause a huge inconvenience for other people. So if you want to enjoy, then behave well. Remember your etiquettes that Cheska mentioned earlier, and just go have fun, be safe, and really think of others as well around you.
Because what better way to spend the heated summer in Korea than going to a heated and hot summer festival? And hopefully we'll be able to see that more. Now, we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Choi Ji-hee
Thank you.
and Cheska Dainong.
The pleasure's always mine. Thank you.
Now, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. We are News Generation.